Welcome to Creation TV. Here is our cellar master, Jean-Claude Martin, discussing the 2013 harvest so far.
Okay, I'll just quickly chat through the different cultivars at Creation Wines. So we start with our two Burgundy cultivars, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. This is the early ripening grapes, doing exceptionally well on this farm. We pick them normally last week in February, early March. Sugar levels, easily to achieve the right sugar levels. Picking is around 23 balling on the Chardonnay, 25 on the Pinot Noir. That is where we get the optimum ripening out of the berries. So from a disease point of view, these are two cultivars who are not really at high risk for botrytis, so therefore we can really pick them at the right time without any stress. Crop size wise, they're doing pretty well. We're coming in the Chardonnay up to 5.5 tons per hectare, and Pinot Noir we also hope to achieve close to 5 tons, and I think that's a pretty good size. So when we then once finishing off the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir, then we're heading on our farm as next cultivars the first batches of Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc is also a cultivar very suitable. We can produce Sauvignon Blanc more on the riper style profile, more on the lychee passion fruit. And to achieve this flavor profile, we have to go also into the 23 balling. And that's something we can achieve here. The only thing is what we have to be slightly careful. Sauvignon Blanc has a chance sometimes to have a little bit of botrytis. Therefore, we have the canopy, especially on the morning sun, slightly opened up. Therefore, we have good air circulation, and that's normally preventing us from having early botrytis coming in there. When we pick at 23 balling on the Sauvignon, that normally gives us the ideal acidity in the final product, who we believe that it's for us quite nice to be at around 6.5 to 6.8 gram of acidity after fermentation. Once Sauvignon Blanc also dusted, then we have the next red wines coming in. Early block of Merlot. Merlot is, I think, a pretty suitable cultivar here, but it needs all the vineyards. So in the beginning we had to really get the balance in the plants right. So when a Merlot is too strong in growth, it always has a slightly intent to go for green flavors, who the consumer normally doesn't really appreciate. And so over time now we could balance out the vineyard blocks with a good management, the right amount of water added, and I think we slowly but surely approaching for good quality Merlots on this farm. On the same time, when we're picking Merlot, we also have the two batches of Viognier. Viognier is back into the white wine cultivars, Rhone style. It's a cultivar who has thick skins, so therefore there's not too much risk involved. But the trick lies on Viognier. When you want to get the lovely peach and apricot flavors, you really have to pick ripe. And when we're talking picking Viognier ripe, we go into the 23.5, 24 balling. So it is slightly a more fuller bodied style, but nevertheless, even with 24 balling, we can achieve good minerality, good finesse with a natural acidity who stays along. What we do on Viognier, we normally keep the Viognier on the skins. So we make skin maceration for overnight, so normally 8 to 12 hours, to give some additional fruit flavors out as a profile in the wine. When the Viognier is finished, then our farm basically has all the white wine harvests. Then we're going back into the vineyards for finishing off the later blocks of Merlot. And when the Merlot finishing off, then we also have the first batches of Syrah coming in. Syrah is a cultivar who does here exceptionally well. I think the Syrah likes sun, wind, drier weather condition, and therefore on a windy place as we experience here, we are definitely a little bit exposed. Like when you go into the Rhone Valley, they have the Mistral, and we have here the southeast blowing. So I think this cultivar does exceptionally well. And when I'm talking about Syrah, at the same time also the Grenache comes, also a Rhone cultivar. And the Grenache, surprisingly for us to see, is always a touch higher in sugar than the Syrah. So normally it really, when the first Shiraz block is ready, then the Grenache block is already full ripe. And so Grenache, because it produces quite a bit of sugar, normally comes in the 25.5 to 26 balling. And Syrah we also picking full ripe 25.5. That is where we think against ourselves the profile of the wine shows at its best. When once the Syrah comes to the end, who is on our farm quite a big cultivar, we're making plus minus 50 tons, like we do the same thing on the Merlot. Then we have another 2 cultivars to finish off the season, so we always have to keep all the winemakers focused that we're not going too early for Easter holidays. That's normally after Easter. We go then for the Petit Verdot and Cab Sauvignon. And on our farm on a normal year, Cab Sauvignon comes a week earlier than the Petit Verdot. And that's also 2 cultivars, thicker skins, therefore not so at risk for botrytis. So we not have huge stress level even when we're getting maybe 1 or 2 small cold front in between and a little bit of rain. These cultivars can quite resist against the disease, and we're getting them also in at full ripening, who in our case would be also at least a 25 to 25.5 balling. Crop size on Cab Sauvignon, it is quite small. We're looking more into 4 tons per hectare. On the Petit Verdot, it's a touch higher. It can come up to sometimes 6 tons. And the Petit Verdot on our farm is definitely the cultivar we utilize the most for our blending component. Especially on the Bordeaux blend, we go in with around between 10 to 20% on a yearly base. And it definitely brings something to the party. And that's it. So when we produce the whole harvest like this, we normally ending up with close to 280 tons of grapes. With the next plantations of Pinot Noir going in, we will be coming close to 300 tons. And I think for the time being, that is for us the right size, and that is what we will carry on over for the next few years.